I'm guessing by Thursday, we won't even be talking to each other because we spent so much time with each other the last week. Over the weekend, we had our Bert's Big Adventure conference where we get to hang out with each other, the whole staff, all of us here, Bert's Big Adventure, of course, the trip we take down to Disney World every year with kids that have chronic and terminal illnesses. And the Bert's Big Adventure staff is there. Also, all our videographers are there. So we hung out all weekend with each other. And it's a really fun weekend for us all because we all get along so well. But dang, I've seen your faces way too much.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, last week, saw you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Now we're back here.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
From time to time, you guys will ask us like, hey, do you guys hang out with each other after the show also, right? You guys must be best friends after the show. We spend more time with each other in the studio or at work talking to each other than we do our significant others. So going out and like hanging out, we're all done with each other at the end of the day.
Need a little break.
Yeah, need a little break.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Right?
And it's not like your typical office where like everybody's kind of doing their own thing or whatever. No, we're forced to talk to each other for 4 hours straight at that. So we're kind of out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there are times where I could say to my girlfriend, you know what, I'm just feeling a little quiet today. I'm a little talked out. Is that cool? And she'll be like, oh, baby, it's totally cool. I get it. We can't do that for 4 hours.
No.
Like Mo can't come in here and go, guys, I just don't feel like talking this morning.
You know, I'm a little introverted. I need some space. No.
Too much extroverting this weekend.
Yep.
Need to be quiet. It was a really fun weekend. And in between learning about all the kids and making sure they're safe on the trip, we do have some fun. And there was some heated ping pong going on.
Yeah, so I realized that the place we were staying and that fits everybody had a pool table that also converted into a ping pong table. And I'm like, you know, all the years we've been doing this and coming here, I don't think we've ever had a ping pong tournament go down. So I set up the ping pong table and I was just like, Mo, you're up.
right as I was finishing my second drink. It was a good strategy.
Yeah, right? Mo, you're up. And so we started playing ping pong and this lot is so freaking competitive.
It's heated, man.
Like if we can find time and if we're not sick of each other, we really do need to do a ping pong bonding outing together because I beat Mo the first round. I beat Tommy the second round.
Wow, really?
And then Mo, it was so funny because Mo came back and he's like, all right, come on. And I'm like, I need a breather.
Focus.
For some reason, I was sweating.
Yeah.
I was out of breath.
So it's funny because at first it started off what seemed like just a friendly game, not thinking much of it. And then as I was sitting over there and Kristen beat me, I was like, no, I have to avenge that. I can't let this happen this way.
That's not going to sit well on your heart.
So she was like, I need a breather. I was like, no, you're the champ. It doesn't work like that. You do not get a breather. And then we played. That's when I had to take my hoodie off. I was sweating. We were both sweating. I needed a Gatorade break. It got real. And then me and Tommy played.
Yeah, because you beat me. So then you became champ.
Yep. Then I beat Tommy. And then I beat Amanda. And I don't know who was next. After that, I was tired.
Amanda told me that she played pretty well against you. So then she and I hit. Was it 11-8?
I don't remember
That's what she said.
She had some moments. That's the thing. When she played seriously, she was actually really good. Which caught me off guard, and I think she got like 5 in a row, and it became a good game.
Yeah. Then she was popping off a little bit, so I said, okay, well, let's go for it. And then I don't know that it gets any more competitive between people than the relationship between either girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, because I did not want to win. I did not want to lose that. I really did not.
So because I missed the game between the two of you.
Yeah.
So who ended up coming out victorious?
I beat her by 2.
Oh,
okay. But she went on that damn run.
She got
that mad run.
She
that made me real nervous. But because you guys remember I had that ocular stroke, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I can't see out of a quarter of my right eye. So I'm already like, I got a built-in excuse if this thing goes sideways. But nobody's going to buy that if I lose. But if you guys if we're going to do a bigger tournament based on what I saw from myself and you guys this weekend, I would like to get in on that.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm looking forward to it.
But the stakes got to be high.
And we got to get a place with some AC. Because we
and some decent lighting too, man. Because one side of that table was great, and the other one was living on the dark side of the moon.
And it was like stairs on one side too, so you had to keep chasing the ping pong ball every play.
It was super, super fun, and I want to let you guys know that are donating to Bert's Big Adventure. And I said this to the staff before we took off. Also, is that your money is in really good hands, and your kids are in really good hands. This is a very buttoned up, fun staff. I mean, it's the same kind of chemistry with Bert's Big Adventure that we have here on the Bert Show. show, where everybody gets along with each other and everybody understands the mission and there are no selfish players in the whole thing. And as I looked around there and I saw all the smiling faces and I saw all the prep work that went into presenting us, all the families and what their stories are and what perhaps we have to look for medically on the trip, I did for a moment think, man, you guys are giving us $1, $5, $10, or $100. I assure you that your hands are in really good, or your money is in really good hands, because they have busted their ass to make sure that this trip is going to be great. And it's only 15 days away.
That's bananas.
We are right there.
Abby's asked a guy to do something with her that she has never asked before. We will get into that in 1 second. I want to ask you this hypothetical question, though.
Okay.
All right, how much would you pay to be on a dating app that you know will find you your soulmate?
How long is it going to take me to find me my soulmate?
A lot of that has to do on your personality.
Because the fees are going to add up.
Yep.
But it's guaranteed.
Well, I guess I'm throwing that in there. But let's just say.
Okay, if it's guaranteed, I'm going to say maybe $10 a month.
$10 a month.
$120 a year.
That is the most you would spend to find a soulmate.
That's what a soulmate is worth to you.
Is this low? Well, here's the thing.
Is it low? That's like the well drink of dating apps.
That's a great value soulmate.
I mean, seriously.
Well, the other ones are free, so it's 10 times more than the other ones.
How many years am I going to be on it? How many bad dates do I have to go through on it? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of variables here that go into my decision.
Well, I mean, even if you're going to be on it 10 years at $100 a year, you're still way ahead of the game.
Absolutely.
I know, but if I pay more, do I find them sooner? If it's $50 a month, do I get to end this hell?
That's less than a Netflix subscription.
You don't want to find love.
I'm not serious.
What's going on with Bridgerton? More important than finding my soulmate.
Touche.
There is a dating service now out in California that is fixing up singles for much more than what you have estimated. They are charging $1 million for their dating service.
We have a huge client base in San Francisco and in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. Usually it's someone that hasn't really prioritized love and prioritized maybe career or other parts of their life ahead of love. Wherever your person is, we will be there finding them for you. We get them, we chat with them, and then we vet them through social media, through background checks, and potentially credit checks if you're interested in that as well.
So $1 million for that, which most do anyway, minus a couple of those things.
Listen, if somebody is paying $1 million to find their soulmate, it's not their personality or their looks that are getting them their person. They're going to find any woman in the LA, San Francisco area, and they'll be like, yep, that's my soulmate. There they are.
How many people, they say they have a massive database. How many could really sign up for $1 million?
That's the one I was saying.
Yeah,
I was
come
like,
on.
yeah, I don't
Something
think
right.
that's like saying, I'm not going to say because it's an inappropriate joke this early in the morning. Anyway, exaggeration times 10.
All right, so what do you got?
Yeah, so I am doing something with a guy that I've never done before. And I feel like for women, this is usually a 50-50 decision as to whether or not they want to go through with it. If you ask one woman how they feel about this one thing, they're probably all for it. But for the other 50%, they might be a little bit more on edge. And that...
So many dirty jokes too early in the morning.
This is not... No, the children don't know, Kristen. They don't know. And what I'm talking about is nothing dirty. It's, of course, talking about something that I'm going to do this week, where before I go on a date with a guy, we are going to go on a FaceTime date instead of just going straight for it.
Okay.
So on Hinge, when I got to reset my algorithm, thanks to intern Sadie, shout out to you because it was getting dreary in there.
You want to explain that to those that didn't hear it?
Yes. So intern Sadie came in and basically said, hey, if you tell Hinge that you are over it, they will do the unthinkable and they will reset your algorithm and they're going to show you all those hotties that they've been hiding from you because they want you to stay on the app and not find love because it makes them money.
So this is right before you unsubscribe. You're telling them, I'm out. And then they're like, okay, we're going to give you one more shot.
Yeah, like you go to your settings,
fresh start.
You say, I'm done. And then they're like, wait, we have hotties. And then they're like, how about a fresh start? So then you press the fresh start button and it totally revamps your algorithm. And then I ran out of likes. Now, to your point, when I ran out of likes, I did something really embarrassing in order to get more likes.
Mm-hmm.
And I did pay money to get more likes. And I paid more for the likes than I would for my soulmate. dating app. I paid $14.99.
Oh, you are going to find a quality man now.
So anyway, I matched with a dude and I thought he was cute, but the conversation went really well. I feel like it can sometimes just be so boring. You just do the same conversation over and over and over again. It's like, hi, how are you? What are you doing? I'm at work. What are you doing this weekend? And it just gets so monotonous.
Is this the conversation you showed me?
This is the conversation that I showed
Yo,
you.
she's not even, when I say the banter was bantering, oh my gosh, it was so good.
Is this the one over the weekend with the white guy with the black guy name?
No.
Oh, that's.
Where was I?
Yeah, where were you?
I missed this.
No,
Do we get to say what his name was?
Yeah, this is not about White Jerome.
Yeah, White Jerome.
I met a white Jerome.
That's what I said. And then the next guy that I matched with was not a white guy, but had a very white guy name. I was like, what's going on here? Like, what? This reset button did some crazy ass.
That's funny.
So, yes, this is, Kristen, to your point, this is the conversation that I showed you, confirmed from another source. The banter was bantering. It was
so good.
But here's the thing. I'm jaded. I've been through these so many times where I'm like, you think it's going great. Usually if they're a really good texter, they're so boring in person. So I'm like, you know what? This guy doesn't live in our city. He lives about 3 hours the other way, but it's a place where there's no women. So he has his location set to this city. And he's like, I'm going to come up and we're going to go out. I'm like, no. Like, that's way too much pressure for me. For you to drive 3 hours, for me to potentially not like you at all. So I said, why don't we do something that will at least show that maybe there's a connection there. I can kind of suss out your height, see if you're aligned or not. And we're going to go on a FaceTime date sometime this week. But I'm just waiting for him to set the date because I told him I was out of town this weekend. So he left me alone, which I love.
Yeah, and you've never done this before. This is like so out of your norm to do a FaceTime date.
I know. I don't like. Are we going to sit down with a glass of wine? Are we going to make dinner? I don't know what's going to happen.
This is such a great idea. I mean, because when you do the same things over and over again, like you have been, getting the same results, you got to change it a little bit. So this is one extra layer of filter, which I love. I am very interested, though, to find out when you guys do this FaceTime date, if you save any time at all. This is all about him coming up here at some point, which is the reason why you suggested it. But I'm guessing you're going to put as much effort into your appearance as you would if you were meeting him face to face in a bar.
I probably will.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. I don't have to drive. I don't have to pay for parking. I don't have to have that emotional 10 minutes before you walk in where you're sweating and you question all your life choices. I can do all of that from the comfort of my couch with my Cat's Bye for emotional support. So
I'm not mad at it.
It should be a good time.
It's a great idea. Well, I mean, dating it's all about time. Time. So if you do one of these, because we all know people that can text so well and they're so fast and they're so clever, but then they get in front of you and it's a big zero. So this is a nice halfway point.
No more zeros for me.
Good
It's just
on you.
wine in front of my FaceTime camera.
See, this is what $14.99 will get you instead of your base price. So Monday, we do Monday mantras. You know, maybe you're a little tired, not feeling it just yet. Maybe there's something that we saw on the internet that can fire you guys up, get you out of bed on Monday. We got one talking about how to have a peaceful life, and another one is all about perspective.
So the first time I heard someone share this advice, it was a guy named Les Brown. And I wanted to...
He's from right here. He lives right down the street.
Yeah, that dude is a genius, man. And I wanted to try it then, but it actually was harder than I thought it would be. And then I heard Denzel say it, and I wanted to try it again. And it seems like such a simple tweak to your day, but for some reason, a lot of people struggle with it. And what Denzel is sharing in this clip is the majority of us, every time we wake up, first thing we do is look at your phone or you get on your laptop, you start answering emails. And he's telling you, you have no idea how much it can change your day. And if you do it consistently, how much it can change your life. To literally just take 5 minutes when you first wake up in the morning and just sit in quiet, just sit in silence, just reflect and just be grateful. And if you start every day like that, you'll be surprised how much better your life will feel.
Spend a half an hour every morning in quiet time first. Don't go, we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. You do it. Start with 5 minutes. Don't turn on any lights. Put your feet on the floor. Take some deep breaths and say thank you. And then just be quiet. You'll find it very hard to do. When you get quiet, you start to hear things. Whether you pray, whether you meditate, no music, no nothing, just sound. Just try to be quiet first, because what you're reacting to then is peace. Once you get up and grab the things or whatever, what you're reacting to is chaos. You can get addicted to peace, and you can also get addicted to chaos. Make sure you treat people kindly. It's hard. I still do it. Someone cuts you off in the car. It's like, yeah, there you go, Denzel. 2 minutes ago, you said to be peaceful, and now you're like, so we're human. Practice it. Anything you practice, you get good at, positively or negatively.
You can get addicted to chaos the same way you can peace. Never even heard of that.
I never heard that either.
That's brilliant.
I felt that in my soul. Now, with his life, he probably has 30 minutes to do that every morning. Well, what we do for a living, I got 5.
Yeah.
We got to get to work. But that 5 minutes has really made a difference in my life.
Throwing this out there, if I know Mo's a fan of Les Brown, you are, Bert. I am also.
Yeah.
We've all had something he said that has resonated with us. If he lives down the street, let's try to get him on for a Monday motivation.
So I've reached out to him probably a whole bunch of different times on Instagram, and I've never got an answer back. It wasn't for the show. It was just to thank him for what he was doing. And
Yeah.
I actually asked him out for a cup of coffee.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm like, you've been so inspirational, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'd like to thank you and maybe pick your brain for a couple of minutes. I've never gotten a response back. Maybe you guys could have better luck.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
It's not making me very peaceful.
Bringing me towards that chaos.
Yes, it is, man. What do you got, Abby?
All right, Mo, thank you so much for that incredible and inspirational speech from Denzel Washington. I have the equally illustrious at Princess Milky Molly for my for my motivation this
Milky
week.
Molly?
Princess Milky Molly. Yep, that's where mine's coming from this week. Because you know what? Sometimes you are in a place where you need somebody who has the credentials and the resume that you want to listen to and steer course to change something in your life and to motivate you to get somewhere. But sometimes you just need someone to make you hysterically giggle. That's what happened to me yesterday when I was scrolling through my For You page, and I was having a moment. I was a little down in the dumps. Nothing's wrong. I'm just a woman. And this video came across my feed. And while I do think the root of what she's saying is all about, it can always be worse. You've always got to change your perspective. But it is what made her change her perspective that made me chuckle a little bit.
And I was like, God, please just send me a sign because I cannot get through another day. And I believe that he did. For the other day, I saw one of the most heinous BBLs I've ever seen. And I have bared witness to some pretty botched plastic surgery in my time. I used to work at a really high-end mall in a department store, and it was like every day you would see at least one. But this BBL I saw the other day, it was heart-wrenching. It was the type of BBL where normal everyday infrastructure no longer accommodates you. You have to change your lifestyle. It wasn't even funny or entertaining. It was genuinely tragic. I'll be honest with you, I think I needed to see it. I think I needed to see it because that BBL, it just put into perspective. And it reminded me that I have so much in my life to be grateful for that I just take for granted on an everyday basis.
So true, bestie. So true.
You can find inspiration anywhere. Absolutely anywhere.
Even in a bad BBL.
Bad BBL,
However
man.
you get it.
All right, Cassie, let's stay with introspection here with a would you rather question.
This is a really interesting would you rather question. And I think before we start, we got to get all on the same playing field. So, Kristen and Bert, for the sake of this question, you do not have kids. Okay? No kids, because I think that changes everything.
I give up one immediately. That was easy. Just kidding.
Here's the question. Would you rather guaranteed have the greatest adventure of your lifetime that fulfills your soul's purpose, knowing that you are going to die immediately after?
Oh, damn.
Man, that's a buzzkill.
Well, no, because you had a fun time.
How long can this trip last? Can it last 25 years?
87 years.
Well, there's no limit on time, right? So it's whatever, you may not know it, but the universe hand delivers you, bowed up this perfect package of exactly what you need. And there will never be anything as fun, as fulfilling as this adventure. So it's tailored to your personality, whatever that looks like. Or would you rather be guaranteed to live another 100 years with the knowledge that you will never, ever have that adventure that fulfills your soul's purpose?
Wow.
See?
No, it's not so hard. I'd take the 100 years.
You would?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, I could fill up my life with so many other adventures in 100 years that major one, that would have been nice. But to have 100 years to fill it up with B's rather than A's, I'll take that every day.
It's the fill your soul part for me. 100 years without ever feeling like your soul was filled would be it almost feels like it'd be a waste.
Shoot. I could tell mine's halfway done and I don't have that.
Still waiting.
And I still feel really good.
Yeah. When you put it that way, I've been living with my soul not being fulfilled for quite some time. Give me the 100.
Yeah, I feel like the second option is honestly just life. Like, it's just choosing the normal life that we all live, where you are probably statistically going to live around 75, 80, 90 years. And you're constantly going to be searching for something that's going to give you that fulfillment and give you that happiness. And maybe sometimes you think you find it, but then inevitably life happens and something takes that joy away or kind of taints that joy. So the other option, the first option, is something I think everybody with anxiety fears. It's like, oh, things are so good. When is the other shoe going to drop? And the problem is with option one is like the shoe is going to drop. You're going to die the next day. So I think I'm probably going option two, just because I do think at the very least I would have time with friends and family. And I feel like that would be fulfilling enough.
Yeah, due to my debilitating fear of death, I'm taking number two.
Yeah.
Give me the 100 years.
Yeah, because even in that 100 years, I noticed this last night, that it wasn't an extraordinary night, but there me and my son are. He's 17 years old, and anybody with a teenager knows that you rarely get to see them. It's so funny that when people say they're going to become empty nesters when the kids are out of the house, that's BS. You become an empty nester once your kid has a car. So he's in the house last night, and we're not doing anything special. We're watching a movie together, and then he starts filling me in on his life, and I pause the movie, and then we have a conversation, and we start watching the movie again, and I pause the movie, and that's regular day life. I'll take 100 years of that over whatever it's going to be, 4 or 5 years of this adrenaline, dopamine, amazing life for 5 years. I'll trade that for 100 years of last nights.
And I think the whole thing puts it into perspective, because if you do choose to live 100 years, it makes you relook at your life and those moments, like with your son, that would be a mundane day any other day. You wouldn't look at it, and now you're relooking at it like, oh, this is actually what I want. And if you choose the grand adventure, well, then something is missing from your life, and you need to figure out what it is to fill that hole.
So with you going on, you've been driving this struggle bus now for 3 years. What's your perspective on it? You taking the 100, or are you just taking one day of peace?
I'm taking the 100, and I would even take it if I had to live in the RV for 100.
Really?
For sure. There's so much out there to see. I just think, again, I'd rather have all the B's than just one A.
I absolutely think that your answer is wrong.
Because of the RV?
Based on what you've done the last couple of years. You're the only one that got that question wrong.
Hazel went to the ER last night, okay?
No.
She's okay. But yes, to your point, it's nonstop.
Yeah, just take one day of peace. Forget about the 100, okay?
Kill me now.
I got screwed over by Prime Video last night.
What happened?
Unless I just missed it. I told you guys, everybody that I have been talking to, I will immediately just say, you guys got to start watching Landman on Prime Video. It's so good. Billy Bob Thornton. It's so dang good. And
It's like Yellowstone, but set in like the oil.
the oil fields of Texas.
Fields.
Yeah, but it's so good. There's so many storylines, right? But I got so screwed because either they don't have the same thing that Netflix has, or I just didn't see it, where it tells you it's the last episode of the season. And it ended, and then it rolled over into, I don't know what the heck it was, 1888, 1943, whatever that show is. And I was just sitting there going like, I can't believe it's over. The screen should blink at you and tell you, like, I just want to let you know there's no missing this, because you do sit there at the very end of it so empty.
Yeah, that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Netflix, I think, is starting to do that. Like, I've recalled with a couple of series, it'll be a little thing that's like 2 episodes left.
They do a great job on it. And I just might have missed it last night, but it's not big enough. It needs to be in your face, like, because you have to prepare for something like that. I really feel like, now what am I going to do with my time?
It's deflating.
I start missing all the characters, and I'm like, how dare them,
You
man?
were in a little mini Landman depression last night.
I was just staring at the screen like, how could this be over? All right, so Kristen wants to be into the Super Bowl on Sunday, but she's just not.
I just don't care. I don't care about the teams. I don't really, and the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs, this is going to be their third time. I'm not a massive Swiftie, so I don't really care about Taylor Swift being there. I don't care about the halftime show. Like, I was all about Usher last year, right? There was no way I was going to miss it. Kendrick Lamar, I appreciate like what he's accomplished and whatnot, but I'm just not a huge fan of. So I literally don't care about any of it.
How about the fact that you could be watching history? This very well could be the first NFL team to win back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls.
I don't care.
I did nothing.
You all can tell me about it on Monday.
All right, well, I have my work cut out for me, clearly.
Yes.
And trying to help Kristen get interested in this Super Bowl.
And you're supposed to bring in one a day.
One a day.
Okay.
Right? So I think I have enough to where I'm actually going to start off with 2.
Okay.
And I think this will not only help you want to see what's going to happen, but it may even give you a reason to pull for Philly. And I'm just a disclaimer, I'm not doing that because I'm against Kansas City. I'm going to balance it out. I'm just starting off with Philly.
And then back in the day, like the Super Bowl commercials were always a huge draw, right? But now we get to see all of them before the Super Bowl even airs because they're already all online. So it's like, what's the point?
I hate the city of Philadelphia, straight up hate it. So it's almost impossible for me to root for the Eagles, except they have like 5 former Georgia Bulldogs like starting for them, which makes me want to root for them, but it's Philly.
I know. And so that's why, well, the first story, I will give a warning. It's sad. The second story is not sad. It's something to celebrate, but I think both of them put together will pull at the heartstrings and help you want to see Philly win.
I see what you're doing because you know my sign.
I do.
And you're playing to my emotions.
That's exactly what I'm attempting to do. I was like, I think this is a good way to bring it out the gate.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this saying in Philly called greasing the poles. So,
oh no, what are they doing to those poles?
It's pole climbing, and it's become synonymous with any time that Philadelphia sports they win anything. That's just what they do. They climb poles to celebrate and to show that we're better than you.
Like they climb like light poles and stuff, like telephone poles in the city.
Yep.
I saw this in Washington D.C. when the first year I worked there. The Redskins, that's what they were called at the time, won the Super Bowl, and I went into Georgetown, which is where everybody was sort of like gathering and partying, and everybody, man, going right up the poles, man.
They literally go up there, and sometimes the poles break, like things happen. So typically the police are always against this, and they're telling people to not do it, but it's Philly. People don't care. When their sports team win, they're going to celebrate. Now, Philly has someone to play for now because, unfortunately, there was an 18-year-old Temple student named Tyler Sabatapathy who passed away from falling off the pole.
And Temple is in Philadelphia,
It's
right?
in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So the Eagles, they heard of this, obviously, and they decided to add it to the list of reasons that they are going to win this Super Bowl, one being for Tyler. So I think it'll be interesting to not only watch to see how that motivates them, how that inspires them to play for more than themselves, their family, and their city. Now you're playing for a fan, a super fan who lost his life. So this now means more to them than I think it ever has or it ever will. And it'll also be interesting to see if people respect that and not actually try to grease the poles as they have in the past if the Eagles do and then win the Super Bowl.
When you said grease the poles, I thought that was something law enforcement did in Philly to like they actually grease them so people couldn't climb up them.
That's what they should do. I don't know why they call it that.
Adult entertainment came to my mind.
Mine too. Yeah, mine too. But I was trying to skip past that for my man Tyler.
For some reason, literally my mind didn't even go there.
Now, a good reason and a celebratory reason I think you should watch a Super Bowl for is, I mean, how cool would it be to see someone become only the 4th human being to ever accomplish something? That's not something you see every day. That's not something everyone can say. But there's a wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles named Devontae Smith. And if the Philadelphia and himself wins the Super Bowl, he will only have been the 4th human being to win the Heisman, the national championship, and their Super Bowl.
Wow.
Only 3 other people in history have done that.
But so he's not the first.
But he's the 4th. This is what we're doing.
Think of all of the players.
Right.
And all the Super Bowls, all the national championships. And you're like, he's not the first. You've seen it at high school football games before. All of the football players behind the banner and the cheerleaders holding up that banner, right? As the football players run through it, right? Tear apart that banner. Kristen was the football team, and the rest of us were holding the banner this weekend. As January ended and February began, goodbye, dry January.
Suck it, January! February is here, baby.
You brought the heat.
I brought more than heat.
But to your credit, because you didn't drink on Friday night
I did
at
not.
our Bert's Big Adventure conference.
I did. Cassie and I both. We went the distance.
Well done.
Friday night, we got there.
Congratulations.
I was having my mocktail of my Montaigne with a splash of grapefruit juice. And then
You were so good. So was Cassie, so good on Friday night that they were both sleeping by like 8:30.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked around after dinner. I'm like, let's go, KK. And she was nowhere to be found. She's away from baby, away from hubby. She was taking that time time, same as Cassie.
Fun fact, I was not sleeping. I was alone in my room eating cake in bed watching TikTok.
Good for
Because
you.
Mama needed some checkout time.
Yeah, I felt like Cassie was trying to escape most of the weekend because she's living in an RV, right?
Yeah.
So they're on top of each other, and she's been so great about it. But I felt like accidentally, like any time that you went to get some private time, like I accidentally caught you reading a book outside, and then I sat down here with you and started talking to you. Then you were somewhere else by yourself, and there I am like a magnet, not leaving you alone. All you wanted was a little private time.
It was actually perfect. I wanted balance, and it was, because every time like you showed up or anyone showed up, I was done with the private time, so it actually worked out. It was one of the best, hardest working weekends, emotionally a lot to go through with the kids, and it was great, but it was awesome. It was the perfect mix of hanging out with friends and then some solo time, and on Sunday, I was like, do we have to leave? Can I just sit outside and stay?
No, it was so we worked so hard on Saturday. And for those that don't know, Bert's Big Adventure, our nonprofit, we take kids with chronic and terminal illness to Disney World. We've started doing these conferences so we can get together and we can discuss the families, the kids, our medical staff is there so they can explain like how fragile they are. Also, we talk about like, what developmental age they are, if they're verbal, nonverbal, stuff like that.
What they're open to talking about, what
Exactly.
they're not open to talk about, what their sensitive points are, what they would like to share with us. And there's like this year, there's like a PowerPoint presentation
Yeah.
for every kid.
It was incredible. And then we have some family. There's one family that has triplets, and all three of the kids have special needs. We also have a family that has sisters who are both Bert's Big Adventure kiddos. So
We've got 11 families this year, which is less than we usually take, except we've got 14 kids.
correct. So we're doing this, and we get through this on Saturday, and so Sunday we wake up and we do our CPR refresh, our Heimlich maneuver refresh. We talk some more about like how to make this as magical a trip for these families. We're going over our schedule, and then we got done early, which never happens. And Cassie was the one was like, so what time do we have to check out?
Can we extend it? Can we extend it to March?
I extended it by sitting in a Panda Express parking lot eating Chinese food by myself.
So yeah, Friday we were very well behaved. We stuck to dry January, but then Saturday, February 1st, we go through the conference, we do all of our meetings and going over the families, and then it was time.
I would like you actually, and Cassie, will you break your phone out and record this? Can you recreate you having your first sip of wine in the kitchen? Amanda and I are there. You pour yourself a white wine. Go ahead, use your coffee as that. It was so dramatic.
Yes.
And it was so huge. This moment.
Not the glass of wine. I was
No,
respectful.
no.
It was one glass. So our buddy David Crawford had Celine Dion playing in the background.
It's all coming back to me
It's
now,
all
right?
coming back to me.
The song.
So I pour my Sauvignon Blanc, and it looks so crisp. And I wasn't going to do it in a red Solo cup because she deserved to be in glass, like actual glass. So I got an actual wine glass, and I pour her, and I smelled it first, and I swirled it, and then the Celine Dion crescendo, and it's all coming back to me now. And then I touched it to my lips, and I took a sip, and it was like, like, where have you been all my life? I sound like an alcoholic. It was really good, though.
Yeah, cross that finish line, man.
We crossed the finish line, and so I had one glass, and I made sure I'm like, we're waiting till a respectable time in the evening to start this.
4 p.m.
Yeah.
And
It was after 5. It was after 5.
And then it was a sprint.
And then, then it no longer became a marathon. I became Usain Bolt. Chugging my Savi B. I lost a nail somehow in the middle
You
of.
made up for lost time.
Yeah, I really did.
How does one lose a nail drinking wine?
After a month off.
That was an aggressive pour, man. Look, if you're listening live to the Bert Show, then you're missing a lot later on in the show. You might have missed this last week when Jackson's mom called up and was just pleading for all of us.
She didn't call up. You called her.
Something like that. To please talk Jackson out of this tattoo. And if you miss any of the Bert Show, you can always catch up on our podcast. We upload every single segment for you guys to listen to on any podcasting platform. But she does not like the idea of him thinking about this tattoo at all.
You know, I've spent a lot of my, early adulthood trying to convince her that tattoos aren't the worst thing in the world and trying to warm her up to the idea. And she has slowly actually started to get on board with the idea that I've been wanting tattoos. The problem is she's thinking that I want like a small little something, some sentimental something that's going on a very hidden place. But the tattoo that I actually want is a little bit of an aggressive first go at the tattoo world.
Please describe the first tattoo, the first ink you want to put on your body.
See, okay, I need to rationalize it a little bit beforehand. You know, they always say that you should sit on an idea for about a year before you actually get it. That way, you know, it's, a permanent thing that you're putting on your body. And I could never think of something that I liked enough to do that with. So when I saw this idea of a YouTuber that I watched that got this, it's almost like tree branch sort of vine looking, like an abstract design that kind of covers a little bit of your chest and down your arm. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that, I felt really inspired by it because I was like, man, this is something that doesn't need to be perfect because it's abstract. I like the way that it looks. I like that it's imperfect. And I think that, I don't know, I really just kind of attached myself to the idea, and I've been sitting on it for a couple of years now, and I kind of want to commit to it now.
The beautiful thing about a tattoo also is when you get it, and if you're not on the radio making it a segment, you don't have to explain it to anybody. They're very, very personal, and it's a little bit almost like inappropriate in the tattoo world to ask somebody what it means. Right?
Agreed. Yeah, and I think for the longest time, people needed to have some sort of like deep meaning behind every single, piece of ink that they put on themselves. And if that's your way of going about tattoos, then power to you. I love that when people do that, but it also doesn't have to be that. I think tattoos now these days are a little bit different. They're ways of, they're more fashion statements. There's ways of accentuating, different parts of your body. I think they're really beautiful and really cool, especially if they're well done.
Yeah, because there's two other people, like Cassie wants to get a phoenix on her arm, which has very significant meaning. Amber wants to get her mother's handwriting on her, which has very significant meaning, and you want to get a bunch of thorn bushes.
2 types of people.
So if you're going to look at all of it, right, in a very well-rounded way, you should know, they say it's permanent, but it's not. You can get it removed.
So a Bert Show listener sent me this because the reason why we got your mom on the phone to begin with is because she literally DM'd every single person on the show after your tattoo segment last week. She hit up Bert, she hit up me, she hit up Cassie, she hit up Abby, Mo, she hit up you.
She did.
She hit up the Bert Show. Rebecca got one. She hit up everybody saying, please, please, please convince my son not to do this.
This is like she's on an island and she sends up a flare when she sees a plane overhead.
And I told her, mom to mom, I will do my best. All right. And now Bert Show listeners are invested in this as well, Jackson.
Okay.
So I had a Bert Show listener hit me up with this specific video saying, please forward this to Jackson. And I'm like, instead of forward it to him, we're just going to play it on the air. So this is Pete Davidson on with Jimmy Fallon. All right. He's on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And they're talking about his tattoos. And Pete Davidson has a lot of tattoos, but he's in the process of removing them.
Some of your tattoos are going away.
Yeah, I've been burning them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost gone.
Is it painful?
It's horrible.
It is, right?
Oh, it's worse.
Worse than getting them.
Well, they got to burn off a layer of your skin, and then it has to heal for like 6 to 8 weeks. And you can't get in the sunlight, and then you got to do it like 12 more times. So really think about that Game of Thrones tattoo you're thinking about.
Really think about it.
Really
Consider
think about it. Yeah.
This is a picture of you with a lot of tattoos here. Look at this.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many you had at one point?
Probably like 200.
Yeah, 200 tattoos.
Yeah, I was a sad boy. Yeah. So,
and you would just think of something and go get it, and
yeah, it was a weird time. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody was getting tattoos like 5 years ago. Do you rember that?
Yes.
Remember?
Of course.
Post Malone was like always tired.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, me too, dude. I'm exhausted.
I want to get it too.
I'm exhausted.
Are you going to keep any?
Maybe like 2 or 3, but I'm trying to clean slate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Trying to be an adult. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks.
It sounds like it's more painful to get it removed than to get the actual tattoo.
Definitely. I have to ask you, was the Bert Show listener that sent this to you my mother?
No, it was she wasn't.
It's all coming together.
I promise it wasn't.
Because she DM'd this clip to me.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she did. And I saw it, and so I as soon as it started playing, I was like, I know where this is going.
Just think about it, man. Just think about it, okay?
Noted.
All right, let's get Annie on from Friday, who knew she was stepping into psycho, man. When you start recruiting friends and you're putting on disguises and you guys are all going to spy on your friend or an ex, you know you're stepping into psycho. And that's exactly what she was going to do over the weekend. Hey, Annie, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. All right. So to just sort of refresh our memory, why exactly were you tailing your boyfriend, putting the disguise on and trying to bust him?
Well, so he had told me he was going to go help his friend with some stuff, with moving stuff. And then I ended up kind of getting a little suspicious about it. So I did a little snooping in his email. And I found a couple of that he had bought tickets to this Warrant concert, which is about an hour away. So I just, I don't know, I assumed that he was cheating. So I went a little psycho, got my friend, and we went to the concert. That's essentially what happened. We fully committed to it, by the way.
Oh, but you know, in keeping with what we did last week, because, you know, Warrant is not known for just one song. Cherry Pie.
All right, so you were convinced dude's up to something a little on the shady side. So what exactly was the pre-plan for you to get in the car with a bunch of friends? One friend, what?
Well, we just had one friend with me, and we got fully dressed up. By the way, we got wigs. After the conversation on Friday, we went and got some neon pink and neon orange wigs.
Love it.
We went all out. Full commit to the psycho, 100%.
And let's be honest, Bert, this is a Warrant concert.
Yeah.
She's lucky she found one friend to go with her.
Yeah, true. You want to go
drive
to
an
a
hour outside Fort Wayne.
That's true.
That's the real sacrifice.
Well, I mean, you're looking for reasons to get out of Fort Wayne, so
You can only say that now because we're not there anymore.
Yeah. Even they would say that. All right, so take us through the night. How did it go?
Well, did not end up the way that I expected. So we drove to the Warrant concert, you know, fully prepared to catch him in a full lie, right? And so we get there, we get to our seats, and my heart is pounding out of my chest. I mean, I'm like ready. We're scanning the crowd, and I finally look down at where his seats were, and they're empty. So at first I'm like, okay, is he late? Did he change seats? Like, what was going on? And then finally, a couple was making their way down the aisle, and they sat right down in his seats. And I just grabbed my friend, and I braced myself ready for the big, huge reveal. And finally, the woman friend turned her face, and my stomach dropped. It was his mom, and then sitting next to her was his dad.
Of course. It's a Warrant concert.
So he bought tickets for his mom and dad.
Oh my God.
Just when I thought this couldn't get better.
Total sense. Total sense.
All right, so you know that this is a story you cannot tell him for a couple of years.
No, now, Annie, you have to abort mission before they see you.
Right.
100. I grabbed my friend's arm in the strongest. I literally pulled her from her seat, and we booked it out of there so fast so that they didn't turn around and see us. I mean, the mission was to get out of there as fast as possible. We got to the car, we closed the door, we could finally breathe. I was, we were pretty stunned. It was not what I was expecting.
So did you fall in love with him a little bit more? I mean, that's a pretty sweet gesture.
It is.
It makes a lot of sense. In the moment when I saw their faces, I was like, of course. Why wouldn't? Yeah. And I asked him about his trip, and he said he had fun with his friend. So
when exactly can you pinpoint the exact moment you realize that you don't deserve him?
What a lovely man you have, right. Taking care of his parents
you
like
don't
that.
Deserve
Sending
that,
them
man.
to a Warrant. Yeah, because her husband's gonna kill her when he finds out. And it's closer than you think.
Sure, we'll pay you $100 for your deep, dark secret. Are you holding on to something that maybe nobody knows? You haven't got it off your chest. It's a deep, dark secret. You tell us the secret. We'll put you on the voice disguiser so nobody will know who you are. And if we all buy your deep, dark secret, like it sounds real, you just can't make something up, then we'll hook you up with $100, right? 1-855-BERT Show. That's 1-855-BERT Show. And we will take your calls here in just 1 second. I had a moment over the weekend where I felt really, really bad for Mo. So I'm always a little bit aware that, Mo told us years and years and years ago, this is the most amount of white people he's ever hung out with.
For sure.
Right?
Definitely.
I'm surprised you haven't OD'd on the whiteness yet.
I think I have a couple times.
There was a time this weekend where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we are putting Mo through this. I mean, it was a different level of whiteness. Can you guys guess what that time was? Because it stood out to me. And while it was happening, I'm like, oh my God, Mo must be rethinking everything right now.
What did we do this past weekend?
It was the
that
most
was
Caucasian
excessively white.
Never in the history of Black America. And here we are in Black History Month. I can almost guarantee you this has never happened in a room filled with black people and only has happened in a room filled of white people. And this might have been the first.
I think I'm so used to it, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I mean, we just talked about Kristen getting drunk to Celine Dion. I don't know how you get whiter than that.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened? What did we do?
We've all done it before together, but it's the first time that we've done it as a group now together.
Can you give us a hint?
Bless. It's just like if Mo leaves tomorrow, I get it.
Why can't I think of which I really can't think of?
When the whole theater was singing the Davy Crockett song.
I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, man, I felt bad for you. You want to explain exactly what happened here?
Yeah, so every year our videography team and our head videographer Seth puts together a blooper reel of Bert's Big Adventure moments that we have had recording stuff at whatever and funny things he has caught on camera. And so we're all in this theater room watching it, and it was so sweet because the screensaver on his computer was him at Disney as a child. So it's his sibling, his parents, and him sitting outside their hotel room at the Polynesian, because that's like his favorite
That's
hotel
his
at
jam.
Disney.
That's his lane.
He is a tiki guy through and through. And it was adorable. So there is little 9-year-old Seth with those socks, those striped socks, and he's got them pulled up to his knees, and he's wearing a raccoon skinned hat, a Davy Crockett hat, right? And so he's pointing it out, and the memory of being there at the Polynesian with his parents. And it was so cute. And then out of nowhere, I don't know who's instigated it.
Somebody challenged him.
Somebody challenged him to sing the Davy Crockett song. Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier.
So you got 20 white people now in the room that are singing it along with him. Yep. And Mo's in the back, and I'm just like, is he still here? Is he checking his contract?
I genuinely had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
that happens quite often.
Is he on the phone with the Breakfast Club right now? Is there anything I can do for you?
on the other end of that, after that, I was playing ping pong with Tommy, and something happened, and I started singing this Carl Thomas song, and I looked around for somebody to join in, and everybody looked at me like, bro, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, man.
I'm going to my room.
And you didn't have AB backup this year either.
I'm out here solo dolo, man. Holding it down.
All right, $100 for your deepest, darkest secret if we buy it. And we're going to put you on the voice disguiser. Good morning, Carlton. We will pay you if your deep, dark secret is great.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I can't believe I'm finally coming out and saying this to somebody. I just gotten off work about 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm headed home. My wife's best friend gave me a call, asked me to bring her something to eat on the way home. Her car had been tore up, so I said, fine. I get there, she opens the door, and she's standing there topless, trying to seduce me.
Wait, I missed the first part. Who was that?
His wife's best friend.
Oh.
She hits him up because her car is kaput, and he's going to drop something off, and then she opens the door, and she's topless.
Wow. So she's trying to hook up with you.
Yes.
Carlton, what'd you do?
What'd you do?
Yeah, how was it?
Herbert.
What?
This is a family show.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right. I may have went in the house, but I immediately turned around and walked back out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Likely story.
Wait. Carlton, she opens the door, and she's wearing nothing above the waist.
Yes.
And you step forward rather than step back. I hope you did.
I had to put the food down.
I had to put the food. You could have dropped it on the front
Very
stoop.
slowly.
I want to know how you told your wife this story.
No, I have not.
No, he's never.
No, he's never told her.
The show.
Oh, good for you. Okay, that's what we're talking
No,
about. sir.
you can't tell her because he went in the house.
Right, and you just laid it down. I'm talking about the food.
I just went in the house so to put the food down, be a good man. I wasn't going to put it on the ground. That's nasty.
Carlton.
To be
All
awkward.
right, Carlton, is your wife still friends with this woman to this day?
We seen her last night.
Oh, Carlton. Oh, Carlton. Hold on one sec, my man. Yeah, that's 100. That's going to be tough
Wow.
to beat. Oh, they are super today. These are precious. Hey, Jess, good morning. You're on the Bert Show.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, you're on the voice disguiser. $100 for your deep, dark secret.
So me and my first cousin were both married, not to each other, but we did have an affair for a year with each other.
With your first cousin. Kudos to you.
First.
Man,
What's
wow.
worse, marrying your first cousin or having an affair?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't commit to it. It was just an affair. It was just a year.
I think we're split hairs on this one, Ken.
That's really become so judgmental on this show.
So what was it about the first cousin that was so appealing?
I have no idea to this day because I don't even find him attractive.
Huh?
That makes it better.
Wow, you ain't even picked a cute cousin.
You gotta pick the hot cousin at the very least.
My God.
Right, that's $100.
I found my mistake. I found a mistake. I know this.
Yeah.
And it was a whole year, too. I mean, you talk about hiding like out in the open because nobody would ever believe you're having an affair with your cousin. Spend as much time with them as you want.
Yeah, it's family.
It's wow, I love that about her. She's so close to her family. All right, hold on a second.
That's wild.
Okay, all right. I don't know if we could do better than those two, man.
Yeah,
we should probably get out at this point.
I love that we're syndicated in Alabama. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what Alabama is saying about Georgia. Man, it's just different now than it used to be, and I have to accept this, man. I'm going to show my age here, but back in the day, Abby, when you applied through the mail to a college, you would wait eagerly in order to get a piece of mail back, snail mail back. You'd have to go to the mailbox each and every day anticipating that letter was going to be in there. Either you were accepted to the college that you wanted or
Unfortunately.
yeah, rejected. Man, I remember going to the mailbox every day, walking out there, that pit of anxiety in your stomach, and you open it up, it's not there. Open it up, then it's there. And then bringing it into the house and then setting it on the table and just looking at it because you don't want to know. You want to know, but you can't know, right? And then you slightly open it just a little bit. I can't do it. Am I going to be going to USC or not? And then you open it up and you get your results and you immediately run to your parents, right? Or you do it with your parents. Mm-hmm. That's a crazy idea, right? Now, that was back in the day. Now, you went to school after I did. Was it the same way or was it already electronic?
It was not electronic. I got a letter in the mail and you got the mail and I didn't get it. I think it was already sitting in the pile of mail and my parents had gotten it and there it was, the University of Kentucky and the school emblem. And then you open it and you're like, I'm going to be a wildcat. Yeah. It was glorious.
You with Old Dominion?
Yeah, it was the same thing for me. Yep, same thing. I ended up applying to two schools. One was ODU in Norfolk, which they said yes, and the other was University of North Carolina. And I opened that one first. And I'll never forget, my mom was right there waiting with me, and North Carolina pretty much said, "Stop playing with us, bro." we appreciate it, but come on, man.
Why'd you waste our time, man?
So I opened up the ODU one. It was like, well, Mom, I'm going to ODU.
I should have had that experience with my son last night. I'll get into it in just 1 second. Abby, you and Florida.
Yeah, so I actually got several physical letters from different schools, and there were some that were more obvious than others. Like my biggest backup was University University of South Carolina. And it came in this big, like, manila folder size envelope. So you knew. It said, like, you're going to be a Gamecock. I'm like, no, I'm not, because I'm going to be a Gator. Because then you get the electronic UF1 a little bit later. And that's very nerve-wracking because, like, you got to click on it and your hand is shaking. And so you got to click the button that says open. And I remember for, like, the first 30 seconds, I couldn't physically get it open because I was so nervous. And then the second it said, you're going to be a Gator, I lost my mind.
The first one that I applied to, because I think everybody does this, where you have like a green light, a yellow light, and a red light school.
Oh, I only applied to one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
One and done. Cassie, I should ask you about Emory also.
Yeah, so I did early decision to Emory, which a little bit regret because I withdrew my applications from the other schools, so I never knew if I got into them or not. But Emory, so they messed up. They had alumni write emails, and the way Emory works, it's weird, but there's also Oxford at Emory, which is like a feeder school into Emory. And they're like, congrats, you got into Oxford. And I'm like, I didn't apply to Oxford. I don't want to go to Oxford. What am I going to do? And then I got the actual acceptance letter a few days later. I was saying I got into Emory.
I grew up in San Diego, so I applied to Pepperdine. And the only reason why I did that is because that campus overlooks the Pacific Ocean in Malibu. And the surf there is amazing. I got into that school and was prepared to go. And then I did a little research on it and found out it's a dry campus. And that was over.
You didn't research or tour anything before? I did it for every school, including my backup school that I applied to.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nah, that one I just wanted in because it was on the ocean, man. But I got into my others also. I got into San Diego State. I got into Miami. And I remember the same process over and over and over again. And I kind of wanted, this is kind of the fun to do it with your kid also. Like, he's been looking at schools and he hasn't really been updating me much. So my 17-year-old walks in last night. And we're watching a movie together. I told you guys that this is what he and I kind of do, rather than have a dinner where we just get caught up in like 145-minute or hour session. He's got ADHD. I got ADHD. That ain't going to go. So we're watching a movie and then he'll start talking to me about something and I'll pause it. And then we'll have a brief conversation. Then we get back to the movie and then I'll pause it and tell him what's going on in my life. So I pause it and I'm like, hey man, I haven't heard anything about your colleges. You've applied. You've already told me where you've applied. What's going on? He's like, oh yeah, I got an Ole Miss.
What?
Whoa, what?
And I'm like, what do you mean you got an Ole Miss? He's like, yeah, I got an Ole Miss.
Wasn't that his top one?
At some point it was.
Okay.
So, and I'm not exactly sure where it tweaked, but now he has got his heart, soul, and mind. He wants to be a dog.
Really?
He wants to go to UGA. But I took him last year to an Ole Miss game. It was the very first campus that we toured. And if you know anything about Ole Miss, it's a factory of hotties. All right. The students are hot. The parents are hot. The grandparents are hot. Everybody there is hot. Everybody. So that was the first campus that we went to, and it really fit him very well. It's kind of a small campus. It just fit him. So he was so excited about it. And then he just got his heart set on going to UGA. And I think because, no offense to Ole Miss, it was so easy to get into. They have a 98% acceptance rate. 98%. That I think because it was so easy to get into, I think he lost kind of the interest in it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So that's kind of his backup school now. And I hate to offend Ole Miss alumni because it's a really fun school. And I love everybody I've ever met. But he just wasn't into it. So when I asked him about it last night, it was almost like
anticlimactic.
Yeah. And that's why he didn't share it with me.
But that's your baby boy and that's the first college he's been accepted for.
And I'm like, this is how we're going to do this? Watching a 90s boiler room from the 90s? And this is how this is all going to go down? I wanted to celebrate it more, but he's not into it.
When did he find out? How long has he kept this?
Could have been a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And it sparked my memory because I've been getting emails from Ole Miss now going, hey, welcome to the Ole Miss family. And I'm like, I don't think I'm part of the Ole Miss family. But I guess I am. So he's got a game plan now. And his game plan to get into Georgia, because quite frankly, it's so brutal to get into Georgia now, man. That he doesn't have the grades to get in there just yet. So his game plan, at least in his heart, and he's going this weekend, is to go to UNG for a year. live down by Oconee, which is really close to Athens, with a couple of friends, get his grades up a little bit, and then transfer into Georgia. That's where his mind's at right now. And when you get your mindset on something like that, and that is your gold standard, nothing else matters for him now also. So I think that's what he's going with. But I did miss the I kind of expected we would be around the computer at least together, and we'd share the anxiety in it, and he would click on it, and we'd be like, okay, you're going to Ole Miss. And he'd go, I don't want to go to Ole Miss. So maybe we'll do that with the second one. All right. I'm pretty sure he'll get into UNG also. Let them debate on NPR the pluses and minuses of serious stuffs like tariffs. That's what you come here for. This is not the place for that.
This ain't tariff country here.
Nah, we're into the dumb debates. Let's go, Cass.
All right, so this is a really dumb argument I got into with a friend. It was actually one of Chad's friends, who's also my friend, but we were out at a bar together. I went to use the restroom like you do, and something like half the stalls were out of toilet paper. So what do? You find a stall with toilet paper and you use that one. And then did my biz, came back to the table, drank some beer. And I was like, oh my God, the bathrooms here are so clean because I am in my late 30s and this is what you talk about at bars. I'm like, they're so clean because they really were. And I'm like, the food is great here. This is awesome. But half the stalls were out of toilet paper. I was telling my friend's wife, like, hey, heads up when you go. And so Chad's friend goes, well, did you tell the bartender? And I was like, no. Why would I tell the bartender? Now, keep in mind, this is not a restaurant. So there's not like a front host or hostess. We don't have a waiter. It's literally like a bar and you would go to the bar and order your drink and sit down. There's no table service, but there are tables. And I'm like, no, I didn't tell the bartender because they're bartending. They are working. And he's like, I cannot believe you walked out that bathroom and didn't say anything. And I was like, it's not my job to police the toilet paper in the bar. And there are plenty of stalls with it. There wasn't a long line. This is weird. Why are you getting on my case? I was feeling attacked. He's like, well, just go tell the bartender that the toilet paper's out in the women's bathroom. And at this point, I'm like, I'm not going to go to the bartender and be like, excuse me, the bathroom, some of them don't have toilet paper. No, be an adult and find a stall with toilet paper. And we must have went back and forth amicably, but maybe not. For like at least like
in what lifetime have you been amicably in an argument?
With people I like, but he was starting to edge towards the not like list. 5 to 7 minutes about whether or not I should have told the bartender that the bathrooms were out of toilet paper.
Yes, you should have.
Why?
Totally on your friend's side. Because you're just making a suggestion. Hey, just want to let you guys know. Because he's not running in there all the time, or the bartender's not running in there. They don't know. They want their bathrooms clean, but they don't know what it's like in there. So you just saying, hey, just want to let you know the stalls are out of toilet paper? No problem there.
But to me, that's like someone coming and telling me, hey, the printer's out of paper. Okay, that's not my job. I don't know where the paper is.
It's not exactly like that. It's not a similar. I don't see what the big deal is. Just going, hey, just want to let you know.
I should add context. It's also
because really what you're doing is you're helping the other customers that are in there.
That's true, but it's a big building. Like the bar is in a big like arcade style building. So in my head, I'm like, there's probably a custodial or management staff that handles that. And so I'm like, telling the bartender isn't going to get it fixed. I'm pulling them from their job.
If there was no stall with toilet paper, then I would have said something.
Yeah.
But if there was one or more stalls that did have toilet paper, you just had to find that one. I'm not saying anything.
I agree. I would have only said something if it was completely out of toilet paper. But if I would have went and looked and it was toilet paper in the next one, I wouldn't have thought twice about it.
In reality, I'm probably not saying anything. But anytime I'm nervous to ask somebody a question and I don't know if they're the right person, I just go, hey, who do I talk to about there not being toilet paper in the bathroom? And then if they're going to be annoyed by that, they're going to feel respected. Like, oh, they're not expecting me to know. So I can tell them who to talk to.
Yeah, I'm not going to a second person for it. I'm not going to the bartender to tell me who I should talk to. I'm telling the bartender. Then it's the bartender's responsibility to tell who they're supposed to tell.
Well, it depends on how dire the issue is. You know, you're dripping.
That could change things. I got to ask this question spontaneously here real quick because I found myself stuck in a moment right now. Is there a celebrity that you absolutely loathe? I mean, like deep inside you really, really hate? 1-855 Bert Show, because I am really feeling it for Kanye today and I can't get over it. The whole thing on the red carpet, and then the fact that now on Twitter he's messing with Taylor Swift for no good reason. He doesn't follow anybody except Taylor Swift, and they have this history where it's obviously a big old FU. And just like today, all of a sudden, I've disliked him for a while, but listen to his music. But today I find myself like it's somebody that I actually know and I hate.
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell us what it rhymes with.
I know what she's going to say. Who else?
Yes, same.
Secrets are no fun unless you tell everyone.
If she won't tell you, there's a good reason why. It would alienate a lot of the audience.
Oh. Is it Taylor Swift?
No.
Yes, Abby, we hate Taylor Swift.
I was like, that's going to put you on an FBI watch list.
Is there a performing arts celebrity that you loathe so much?
Loathe.
I just really am finding myself stuck in a moment today, man.
I don't think I hate anyone.
I feel so
that
let
much.
down.
Marilyn Manson.
Really?
Because of what he did to Evan Rachel Wood.
Which was that?
Allegedly,
What
or
was that?
whatever. Deep abuse to
Yeah.
multiple
Oh, really?
women. And I always found him off-putting, but then I was like, stop being such a normcore, Cassie. Like, let people live. And for a while I was like, okay, I can dig it. I like his cover of Sweet Dreams. And then just every time it comes on, I'm just like, you're just here for the shock value.
Yeah.
And to make people do that. Also, Demi Lovato.
Oh, hang on for a second on that one.
stand her.
Hold on. Caitlin, good morning. This is so random. Who do you what celebrity do you loathe? I have her picked up.
Caitlin.
Caitlin, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, okay.
Hey, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Matt
For
Randall.
what reason do you loathe Nicolas Cage?
I don't really know why. I think it's his face.
Okay, fair enough. You don't really need a reason.
No.
Just loathe your face.
That'll do.
Just your face.
Why
Yep.
Demi Lovato?
You know, it didn't start that way, but it's just, there is no quantifiable thing. It's not like she's done anything, so it's completely unfounded. There's a smugness about her. I just don't like how I felt the media has reported how she's treated some friends. I feel like she is inauthentic, which is unfair of me to say because I don't know her at all. So she may be totally authentic. It's just stuff she's saying feels like virtue signaling almost, and it doesn't feel authentic. And I just don't get good vibes from her. I get bad vibes. That's what it is. She seems to have bad vibes and a bad aura, and I don't like it. That is said, I do not know her. I've only read about her in the media, so don't take that with any, take it with a grain of salt.
I forgot one. Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle?
The actor, yeah.
How?
He disrespected my grandmother.
Oh, you've told this story, I believe. Tell it again.
I forget exactly what he said, but I know they met, and I think she went over to pay him a compliment, say something. I appreciate your work, and she said he just couldn't be more rude. It was like real, get out my face, please, type of response.
To an older woman?
Yeah, be careful, Chris.
I said older woman.
You're just on the same list now.
But to an elderly, you know what I'm saying?
She said he was super rude, to the point where my grandmother doesn't let anything bother her. So for her to say that it bothered her, it's up with Don Cheadle if I ever see him.
See, I'm having a trouble because loathe is such an intense word. Hate and loathe.
There are people that drive around me every day that I loathe. I can go from oh man, what a rude driver, to I absolutely hate that driver.
So that's why, there's people I dislike, but to say, Adam Levine is always going to be a person I dislike, but I can't say I hate or loathe the man. You know what I mean? There has to be some really deep seated,
you got to do something to me personally.
Yeah.
I think, for me to loathe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody that I loathe, but I will say when I was watching the Grammys last night and I was seeing all of these incredible performances that just were so acrobatic and looked like they took so much effort and energy, from Doechii to Sabrina Carpenter to Chaperone. They're crawling across the stage and they are belting their hearts out. And then I will say there was a part of me watching Billie Eilish's performance. I was like, put a little effort. I mean, you sound amazing, but she's always wearing the same baggy t-shirt, and she sounds great. Her music's amazing.
That's
but
kind of her thing, though.
The thing is boring, and that's just that's my opinion.
It's not a loathing.
It's not a loathing,
no.
but it does feel a little. It sounds bad to say low effort because she's so talented, but I'm like, just do literally anything.
You loathing for the clothing.
Loathing for the clothing.
I am guessing that none of us in here have had as difficult and an uncomfortable, a cringeworthy conversation with our parents than our listener had to have with their parents this weekend. What is the most uncomfortable one you guys have ever had to have with your parents?
Oh my God. I feel like it's the obvious one. The one?
Yeah.
That one is That one was pretty cringy.
The birds and the bees one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing that moms took that one.
My mom took that one and she cornered me because I remember, I will never forget this because I already knew because I was a fast kid. And my mom was looking at like AOL.com and an article about Jamie Lynn Spears popped up. You know what I'm talking about? Like when she was going through her teen phase. And she looked at the article and she goes, do you know how this happens, Abby? And literally I took off and locked myself in the bathroom. I was like, I know! They told me at the lunch table. Bye.
Oh, it's the most cringe or the most difficult conversation you ever have to have with your parents?
I feel like trying to think off the top of my head, it was probably when in that moment, I decided that I wasn't coming home for Thanksgiving anymore. That was rough. And then the tears started coming and I saw how much it meant to my mom and I was like, just kidding. And I changed my mind completely.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't do that to her. Probably that one.
Oh, yours?
When I dropped out of UK.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, because we were very well into the semester. And what I had done is just dropped a class here, dropped a class there, dropped a class here, dropped a class there until I wasn't taking a class. And I had to come clean that, I was taking the semester off.
I had to have similar conversations with my mom and my dad after therapy and going to them and saying, hey, I realize now how crappy parents you were. Those weren't easy.
That's got to be tough.
Those were tough. But I'd still rather have that one than this one. Hey, Mom, Dad, I can hear what's going on in the bedroom.
Yeah, so she, our Bert Show listener hit us up and she is freaking out because she needs to have this conversation but doesn't know how because she lost her job the end of last year. And she, at the age of 20-something, ended up moving back in with her parents. They've been very kind to open their home so she can kind of get back on her feet, save some money. However, the walls are very thin in the house. And her parents, though they've been married for a long time, are still very, very much blissfully in love with each other and like to show each other on that physical level how much they love each other. So she hears them doing it all the time. And she's hit her breaking point.
All right, the update reads, first off, thank you for reading my email and giving me advice and some much needed laughs. I decided I was just going to talk to my mom and finally address the situation. Daughter to mother seemed way better than daughter to father. I agree. I thought I had a solid plan. Really didn't want to do it at home. So I invited my mom out to lunch thinking a nice casual setting would make the conversation easier.
Nothing like a little Panera salad to make this combo go down easier.
Is that a conversation you want to have in public?
No. Absolutely not.
I wouldn't think so.
Hell no.
Nope. We had a good time. Chatted about life, my job search, some family updates. Every time I tried to bring it up, my stomach knotted up, and I just couldn't do it. How do you casually slide in, hey, I can hear you and Dad getting freaky at night, into a conversation over chicken salad? We were nearing the end of lunch, and I knew I needed to rip the Band-Aid. I literally opened my mouth to say something about my mom and Dad's intimate sessions, but instead, I blurted out, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? I panicked. The words just wouldn't come out, and my mom hates sports and was thoroughly confused. So now I'm back to square one. Still traumatized, still losing sleep, and still no closer to addressing it. Do I even bother trying again, or do I just suffer in silence?
What were your suggestions on Friday? You guys had some more petty than this.
I'm not going to say it's petty. I would like to label it as creative. My creative solution to this problem was that if you can hear your parents, then that means your parents can hear you, right? So one night, before they're about to get intimate or whatever, you time it just right and you jump up and down on your bed, make those types of noises so then they can hear you in your room. And then hopefully they have common sense and the light bulb will go off that, oh my God, we can hear her. That means she can hear us.
Now, I like the idea, but why does she have to time it to make it right before the parents are about to do
Can't
it
you just
too?
give them their time? Right. Can't it be in the middle of the day?
Yeah, it could be at any time.
How about just saying something to the effect of, even over dinner or whatever, man, I can hear everything in your room. I mean, the walls are so thin. Can you guys hear what's going on in my room?
That's what I would do. Just like that.
I actually had to do this to an apartment neighbor a couple of years ago. So I lived in an apartment where the bedrooms were up against each other, so we shared a wall. And every night, like clockwork, at 12:45, I'd hear.
Oh, you shared headboards.
And so I had to leave them like a ransom note. Be like, hey guys, love that you guys just moved in. Just wanted to let you know I can hear everything. underline. Just thought I would inform you as to what's going on over here at 1208 apartment.
Did they get it?
Oh, yeah, they got it. And then they moved out the next month. So.
Did they really?
They were there 4 months, and I was like, my work here is done.
All right, let's talk about the most disrespectful and cringiest thing that happened before the Grammy Awards last night. Oh, my God. I mean, these two will never have a job on the red carpet ever again. Do you want to explain what happened?
Yeah. Oh my God. This is honestly my worst nightmare, as doing something in front of the entire industry and all these other celebrities that is not only probably going to get you canceled, but it's probably going to end your career. So this all has to do with these AP red carpet reporters who were in the middle of a conversation with an artist named Babyface. And so as they're talking to Babyface, Chappell Roan, who just won Best New Artist, walks behind him, and then one of the interviewers kind of freaks out. She leans down. You can see she's sort of looking at a monitor or something to where she can see that Chappell's walking by, and they very quickly escort Babyface out and Chappell Roan in.
Yeah, I want to play the audio for you here in just 1 second, but those of you that are young and don't really quite understand who Babyface is, he is generally known as the greatest producer of all time. When you think of anybody in the industry, Babyface has had something to do with their success. Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson, Madonna, you name it, Boyz II Men,
Mariah Carey,
TLC, Usher. I mean, he has had how many? It's a crazy man. 26 number one R&B hits throughout his career. 13 Grammy Awards. This guy is the Hall of Famer. So if you get him in an interview, that is a very big deal. So they are talking to him, right? And as Abby said, we've all seen these red carpet clusters, right? Where you got all the celebrities that are on the red carpet and their handlers are dragging them to this person and this person, but they're in the middle of a conversation with this Hall of Fame producer, and this is how it goes down.
Yes, I think it's interesting.
Chappell!
You guys want to do that? Go do that.
So sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Hello! How's it going, Chappell?
Oh my God.
So let me just say, there are two of them that are talking to Babyface, and one continues the conversation and the interview while the other one is almost leaning out of the shot and yelling at Chappell Roan while she's in mid-conversation with Babyface. And he's so polite about it. He's like, if you guys want to talk to Chappell Roan, go ahead.
Yeah.
It broke my heart to hear Babyface say, just go do that.
Just go do that.
Just go do that. I get it.
Well, at that point, you've been so disrespected. I don't want to continue my conversation with you anyway.
Yeah, true. I mean, I felt like, damn, am I getting that old that we don't know who Babyface is? 500 million sales in single songs that he has wrote, and you would do that. And the man has been in the industry for 40 years and kept a Babyface the whole time. Put some respect on that man's name.
I mean, a mad amount of respect needs to be put on his name, but unfortunately, we live in a time and era where Babyface isn't going to get the clicks. Chappell Roan is.
Sure.
So in that moment, they're like, this is the person that everybody is talking about. There's no doubting Babyface's legacy. I mean, what the man has accomplished over his career is incredible. But in that moment, they were thinking, this Chappell is going to go more viral over Babyface. However, kudos to Babyface, because now everybody's talking about you today.
Yeah.
Because you went viral.
It's really kind of the producer's job to get Chappell to come on over, not the person that's doing the interview. And so she got overly excited. And then she makes it even worse. When they come back after break, this is her apology. And maybe you need to see it to really understand how insincere it felt.
First, I wanted to say that I'm really sorry about interrupting Babyface earlier. Chappell Roan had come up, and there was a lot of commotion, as there is on these carpets. But I'm a big Babyface fan, and as are we all. And so I just wanted to say that I really apologize. But thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Hey, they're never going to have you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you never. If I was there with her, I'd be like, name one Babyface song.
Yeah, right. And poor Babyface must be at the end of this thing going, is this what my career is now? Like, now people don't even know really who I am. I mean, I had the time, but this is my Hall of Fame resume, and now people don't even know who I am on the red carpet.
Maybe, but I'm pretty sure there's still that part of him that knows how much of a legend he is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you got to go where you appreciate it.
Yeah, you will never, ever see her on a red carpet ever again.
Nope.
The Bert Show.